We're going to go ahead and get started. Can everyone please take their seats? Apologize for the delay. We are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to call the meeting to order. And I believe that Robert Zagoyev is here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Robert. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Robert. And Madam City Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Councilmember Byers. Here. Councilmember Erickson. Here. Councilmember Meister. Here. Vice Mayor Hang.
Here.
Mayor Howman.
Here.
And we have a quorum.
All right, great. And then I'm going to turn to our city clerk, or to our city attorney, rather, for a report of the closed session.
Yes, good evening. The City Council convened a special closed session this evening that began at 5 p.m. There were no members of the public here to speak on the posted agenda items. The City Council spoke about the 2 items listed on the posted agenda and took no reportable action and concluded at 6 p.m. That concludes my report.
Thank you. We will now turn to the approval of the agenda. I believe that there is a change from the city clerk.
Yes, Mayor. Staff is requesting that item B12 be pulled. That's the award of a public-private partnership agreement with Ike Smart City LLC for curbside electric vehicle charging and interactive kiosks.
Great. Are there any changes from council? Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I will start with unfinished business to make sure Melissa, I'll start at the top. Can we move E2, the Ciclavia Meets the Hollywoods event, to consent? Okie dokie, I'll keep going. Oh, sorry, now I'm lost. I would like to move F1 to consent. I believe those are my direct appointees. I'll be appointing Nicholas Renteria to the Historic Preservation Commission and Trevor Ladner to the Arts and Cultural Affairs Commission. F2, the review of impacts and advocacy related to the state fire hazard safety. You have comments, wonderful. And then what about F3, the agreement for Booth Management Consulting LLC?
No objection. That'll be moved to consent. Is there any desire to move E1 to consent?
I would just like a brief presentation.
Okay,
and then,
we'll keep that on the regular agenda. Are there any other changes? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion. Somebody can make the motion to approve the agenda as amended. It's moved and seconded. If we can now take a vote on that. We now have an agenda. Great, thank you everyone. Does anyone have any Levine Act disclosures tonight? There are none. All right, so we'll move to adjournment motions. And Councilmember Meister, I believe you have one.
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to request that we adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of Christopher Endeman, who recently passed away in March. Although Christopher lived in Los Angeles from '74 to 2019, he was a business owner here in West Hollywood. He was a hairstylist, and he had LA Hairport, David Meyer Concept, Acapello, and Christopher Hair Studio. He was actually my hairdresser for many years, and my sister's as well. He was also a very good friend to Barbara Krupa, who was on our city's older senior advisory board, and he was just very much a part of this community, and so I'd like to adjourn in his memory. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for that. I'd also like to request that we adjourn in memory of Paul Oppenheim, a longtime West Hollywood resident. He was a gifted sound engineer in the film and television field, a lifelong musician. He contributed his creativity to the West Hollywood Orchestra many years ago when we had that here in the city. We extend our deepest condolences to all who knew Paul and were inspired by his work. Are there any other adjournment requests? Now we'll turn to presentations, and I believe we have a number of them tonight. Vice Mayor Hang, do you want to start?
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I would like to present a proclamation in recognition of Mental Health Awareness Month. Whereas Mental Health Awareness Month is observed every May to raise awareness of the importance of mental health, reduce stigma, and promote access to care for all, and whereas the 2026 theme, More Good Days Together, encourages us all to reflect on what a good day looks like for ourselves and our communities, and how we can help make those days more possible, and whereas through this reflection, we can strengthen connections, expand access to appropriate support, and promote mental health education, and foster a more compassionate and engaged community. And whereas mental health challenges affect individuals across all ages, identities, and backgrounds, and while each experience is deeply personal, access to understanding and support is universally essential. And whereas, despite this, creating more good days is not a solo mission. Connection is protection. And when we look out for one another, we build stronger, healthier communities where everyone can thrive. And whereas the city recognizes the vital role of educational institutions in advancing mental health awareness, education, and access to care, including the University of Southern California's Suzanne Dwork Peck School of Social Work and the California State University Northridge Graduate School of Social Work, whose students, faculty, and programs help advance mental health research, prepare the next generation of practitioners, and through community engagement help strengthen mental health outcomes across our region. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of West Hollywood hereby recognizes Mental Health Awareness Month and honors these educational institutions for their commitment to fostering mental wellness and advancing impactful research efforts that enhance the well-being of the community. At this time, I would like to invite representatives from both the University of Southern California School of Social Work and the California State University Graduate School of Social Work to the dais to accept this proclamation and join me and my colleagues for a photo. From the University of Southern California, we are pleased to have Professor Sam Mastrano, along with several of his students, and from California State University Northridge, we welcome Professor Maurice Hudson, who is joined by his students as well. Please come up.
Come around here. Make it look good. Hold it. Hey, good turnout. Good turnout. Wait, hold on. I'll introduce you. Thank you very much. My name's Sam Mastrano. I'm a clinical associate professor at the USC School of Suzanne Dvork Peck School of Social Work. And these are first-year students earning their MSWs. And I'd like to introduce one person to share with us, Brianna Dominguez.
Hello. So Mental Health Awareness Month reinforces that mental health is essential for all of us to live full, healthy lives. There should be no shame when someone interacts with mental illness, just like there should be no shame when someone has a heart attack. Thank you, City Council, for noting this month and honoring those of us that work in the field.
Thank you. And then I think our Northridge representatives are going to say a few words as well. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Heimland, Vice Mayor Hang, members of City Council, and City staff. My name is Michael Mayorga, and I am graduating Master of Social Work student at California State University, Northridge. I'm honored to speak to you tonight on behalf of the CSUN's Department of Social Work, and I am grateful for Department Chair Dr. Wendy Ashley and Professor Maurice Hudson, who is here with me tonight, for this opportunity. Thank you for recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month and for including CSUN Social Work in that recognition. This proclamation is meaningful because social work education is not only about classroom learning, but also about preparing professionals to serve communities with skill, humility, and care. At CSUN, we're trained to promote well-being in urban communities through approaches that are trauma-informed, anti-oppressive, collaborative, and grounded in social justice. In that spirit, my colleague Annabelle Magdaleno, who's not here unfortunately tonight, and I presented a capstone project on the stigmatization of chemsex among gay and bisexual men within LGBTQ+ communities. Our work highlights a key finding that is especially relevant during Mental Health Awareness Month and aligns with the city's commitment to this work. Many existing approaches frame chemsex experiences primarily in terms of risk and pathology, which can unintentionally increase shame and discourage people from seeking support. This matters for mental health because when individuals feel isolated, unsafe, or judged, health risks can increase. But when communities invest in affirming support, connection, and harm reduction practices, they create real opportunities for healing and well-being. For cities like West Hollywood, this means continuing to support accessible mental health resources and LGBTQ+ affirming services, and we would be honored to have Professor Hudson share our work as a resource to support cities' ongoing mental health efforts. On behalf of CSUN's Department of Social Work, thank you for this recognition and for your ongoing commitment to mental health. As I prepare to graduate next week, I'm proud to join a profession dedicated to dignity, justice, and community well-being. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know it's final season, so we will not be offended if you leave and go back to studying, but thank you very much. Councilmember Meister, you have a certificate as well. Yeah.
I do. Tonight, I am very honored to recognize someone who for 30 years has been a constant in the West Hollywood community. Roger Aguirre, our neighborhood UPS driver. In a city that is always evolving, where businesses and faces often change, Roger has been a steady and familiar presence, part of the daily rhythm of life in West Hollywood West. For many of the residents, Roger was never just delivering packages. He was delivering with care, with attention, and with a genuine sense of responsibility. Whether it was something valuable, something important, or something as simple as a daily delivery, Roger treated everything and everyone with respect. Residents came to know Roger not just for his reliability, but for the small things, making sure packages were placed safely, ringing the bell so nothing was missed, and always taking a moment to say hello, not only to the resident, but to their dogs as well. Roger represents something increasingly rare, a quiet, consistent commitment to doing things the right way every single day. Roger also brought something to the job that not everyone does, and that's kindness. I remember when my dog, Molly, passed away, Roger and I stood on my porch, crying our eyes out, and he was like part of the family. So on behalf of the City of West Hollywood, we want to thank you, Roger, for your service, your kindness, and the care you brought to our community for 3 decades. You will be missed by many, especially Suki and Sammy, and we wish you a wonderful, well-deserved retirement. At this time, I would like to invite Roger to the stage to receive a certificate of recognition to the dais, in front of the dais, for a certificate of recognition from the city and to take a photo with myself and my colleagues.
It's all good now. Mayor, council members, City of West Hollywood, I just want to say thank you very much. And thank you, all of you residents here, for your hospitality. 30 years, I've seen a lot. This city is amazing. It's growing amazingly. The diversity here is awesome. And I really didn't come with much to say other than thank you so much. And it was my honor, my privilege to serve the community here. And thank you again. It's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure now to present a certificate of recognition to an outstanding student at West Hollywood Elementary School, Robert Zagoyev, who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. So if Robert could come forward, and my colleagues could join me, we're going to present you with a special certificate of recognition. Is your brother coming with you? No? All right. We have two other presentations tonight. May is Older Adults Month, and we have a proclamation that I'm going to present to our Older Adults Advisory Board members who are here. I wanted to just highlight a couple of the programs that we have this month. Our Older Adults Service Award will be presented on Wednesday, May 6th at 2 p.m. right here in this room. The city will also host its 21st annual Older Adult Community Health Fair on Thursday, May 7th at 10 a.m. at Plummer Park. The event is great. It's offering free vaccines, free health screenings, connection to various service providers. It will also highlight an older adults art showcase as a new and exciting part of this event. So I'd ask the members of our Older Adults Advisory Board who are here tonight to come forward so we can present the proclamation recognizing Older Adults Month in the city of West Hollywood. And there they are, over there. All right. Please join me in thanking them for all of their service.
Thank you. I am R.J. Holguin, current chair for the Older Adults Board. And I want to thank Mayor Hellman and Council for this proclamation. You know, on behalf of the Older Adults Board, we're very grateful and honored to receive this. It's a great privilege to accept this proclamation, recognizing the contributions and wisdom of older adults in our community, many who have and continue to make a meaningful and lasting contribution to our city. We're talking about, and when talking about our seniors, we're talking about a span of nearly 50 years, from 55 to, say 105, and everyone has different needs. So it is our challenge to be able to address all that. It reminds us of our citizens, that we're not just beneficiaries of our community, but that the very backbone, offering a wealth of skill, experience, and mentorship. As we celebrate this designation, we also recommit ourselves to ensuring that West Hollywood remains a place where everyone can live with dignity, respect, and independence. That our older adults, that we find ways to accurately inform ourselves with trusted information, accurate information, to not be misguided with information or false information, so that we can make good, sound decisions in all aspects of our lives. Whether it is in business, volunteering, or guiding our next generations, we older adults continue to enrich our daily lives. I accept this recognition, not just for myself, but on behalf of all older adults who have made and continue to make our community a vibrant, affordable, caring place to live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mayor and Council. I just want to say that I have lived in the city of West Hollywood since 1978. I came in a stroller, you understand? No. And now I find myself as an older adult. I was a young man, now I'm an older adult to be here. And you know, what's wonderful is to be in a city where you feel safe, and where there are many commissions and so forth that are providing things for your older age, and that you know that can grow old with dignity, and that you have such services at your disposal, and to know that there's people like you working for us on our behalf, to know that we're growing older in a beautiful, clean, safe environment. And I want to say on my behalf and behalf of the board, thank you so much.
Thank you both. And our final presentation tonight is in recognition of National Small Business Week. May 3rd through May 9th is National Small Business Week in the United States, and it recognizes the importance of small businesses. West Hollywood, the backbone of our business community, is small business, and they strengthen our local economy, they create jobs, they foster innovation, and they contribute to a wide variety of services for our community. We are lucky to be represented by a number of great business associations here. Visit West Hollywood, the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, Emerald Village, the Sunset Strip Business Improvement District, and the West Hollywood Design District, all of which provide services, programs, and help promote our small businesses. We also have a West Hollywood Business Task Force, and I would like them to come forward if they're here tonight and to receive this commendation recognizing National Small Business Week in West Hollywood and celebrating the contributions of all of our businesses. If our West Hollywood Business Task Force members could come forward, and I'm going to ask our economic development staff to come forward as well because they're so important to our programs. Can you all join me in thanking the members of our Business Task Force? All right, that completes our presentations tonight. Thank you so much for your patience. We'll now turn to public comment, and this period of time is set aside for public comment. We cannot take action on anything that is not on our agenda tonight. How many people do we have on Zoom and how many in chambers?
We have 1 individual in Zoom and we have 20 individuals in chambers.
All right, well, let's go ahead and deal with the ones in chambers right now because a number of them are speaking on consent calendar items. Our first speaker is Tom DeMille, to be followed by Steve Martin.
My name is Tom DeMille, West Hollywood. Boy, I'm 70 last week, so I'm old. And I needed mental help 2 weeks ago because, after losing my legs twice, and I don't know what made everything crumble down and feel like my whole house was on fire, but it was. And there was no one really to turn to except for West Hollywood Care. And they promised me a lot of stuff, but they never came through. To this day, they still haven't come through for me. A couple of frozen spaghetti dinners just doesn't make an organization, okay? It's about follow-up. If they don't follow up, they shouldn't be in business doing anything in our community. So I've needed both. I can relate to both the seniors in this community that, are alone, that, there aren't a lot of programs for, and, I don't get much respect at all. I'm in the way of everyone at this point. I've never been in my way in my life of anyone. Maybe at a parade once because I was 6'3", but now I'm in the way of everyone, and I kind of resent it. And I know the B6 tonight is about off-site advertisement. Get them off the sidewalks. I can't get down the sidewalks as it is. Everybody wants to throw their sandwich boards. If they need sandwich boards to stay in business, they shouldn't be in business, first of all. I mean, come on. That's like hiring 6 people to talk about you on the street. That's not right to impede other people's walkways. As far as, maybe you should double the amount of WeHo Cares. Maybe you should double that budget and tell them that the biggest thing that you should do is in the community that we deserve is follow up. It's just follow up. Because my house is still on fire 3 weeks later. Still on fire. And here is some guy that served my community for the last 30 years. All of a sudden, I need help, and there's no one there for me?
Thank you, Tom. Your time is up. Steve Martin.
I know that's true.
To be followed by Kevin Burton.
Sorry, Stephen. Always wait number 5. I know, right?
Sorry, Steve Martin. I was on B10. Some of the one of the Pride events that wasn't on the agenda was one that you approved 2 weeks ago at your last meeting. You approved sending 4 council members to Amsterdam for Amsterdam Pride. And so that would be led by the mayor, Les Lauren Meister. That was approved before we got inundated with all these television attack ads regarding John Erickson's trips to Rome and Paris. And I'm not expressing any opinions about that, other than to say the community's focus on travel and whether or not these sorts of things, these sort of junkets, really bring value are something that people are really talking about, particularly right now when gas is almost $7 a gallon. You know, it's one thing to send the mayor, who's obviously very capable and is also going to be in Europe at the time. It kind of makes sense, but it's really hard to understand why Chelsea Byers and Danny Hang and John Erickson all need to go, and how that's going to result in any meaningful change in tourism this summer, particularly given, you know, Trump's war in Iran and the cost of jet fuel. But also, you know, you're always harping on how we should be on bikes and eat less meat and lower our carbon footprint. And it's a little hard to take you guys seriously when you think that 4 people need to go flitting off to Amsterdam at this particular time. So anyway, just thought I would make that comment.
Thank you, Steve. Kevin Burton, to be followed by John O'Brien.
Good evening, Council. I'm Kevin Burton, a resident of West Hollywood, speaking on behalf of the West Hollywood Bicycle Coalition about item E2, Ciclavia. And I want to thank the city staff who worked hard to secure funds from Metro for yet another Ciclavia, which has been wildly successful previously in West Hollywood and Hollywood. These funds, which the Bicycle Coalition supported securing, are not easy to get, and they're increasingly difficult to get. Metro has significantly cut back this year. We're fortunate to have them. There are plans for no support from Metro such events next year. So we need to enjoy this while we can. And this year is going to be held on Sunday, July 19th, and I expect it to be another wonderful event in which Santa Monica Boulevard is closed to all motorized forms of transit from La Brea Avenue to San Vicente Boulevard in West Hollywood and going much farther east through Hollywood. And it's an opportunity for people to see the city, especially Santa Monica Boulevard, from a different perspective than driving through and fighting traffic. And so whatever you might have to get you by, human-powered, running, walking, skateboards, bicycles, and other, please come out on July 19th. It's a wonderful day for the residents, for visitors, and for many businesses along the route. Thank you.
Thank you. John O'Brien, to be followed by Lynn, et cetera.
Good evening, council people. I was here last year asking for a booth at the West Hollywood Pride Festival for my group Out Against War, which formed in this city back in 2002 around the Iraq War. We know what happened with that. Well, I put in 5 months ago, I went to the West Hollywood City Council, brought the 501, told them we wanted a booth, and they said that we'd get back to my members. And then we were told that we would know by last Thursday, April 30th. Today I went to the City Hall, and they told me there's a delay till tomorrow in deciding whether or not to give my group a booth. Well, let me say first that I'm an actual living Stonewall Rebellion leading participant, one of the 4 Judes who took the parking meter that was pushed out of the ground and used it as a ramming against the doors where the cops were hiding behind it. I also was the one who chaired the first public meeting, what became the Gay Liberation Front in New York, and I was on the first Pride Committee organizing in 1970. So the Pride Committees mean something to me. So I ask tonight that you consider my group, which has the 501, et cetera, to have a booth at the festival. We're against war. I don't think there's a lot of groups who organize around gay and lesbians against war, but our group does. And I have a terrible message for you folks. as somebody who's been an activist since the age of 13. Donald Trump does not plan to be democratic and allow elections. It's not in his interest to lose power. It's not in his interest to give up all the corruption. So he will do something to have an emergency event, which we've seen before in Germany, to not have elections be counted. So we want to be out there to organize our community to prepare for that. We need to be organizing for what happens when Donald Trump wants to not hold elections. So it's important we have that. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Lynn, et cetera, to be followed by Catherine Quinn and then Melissa Brown.
Lynn, et cetera, West Hollywood. An example in the construct of human intelligence of how the mind works and develops is when parents teach their babies how to count on their fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and toes. Numbers are one of the first connections of learning, i.e. the mind's neural-brain paths. I'm 75. I've been politically active a long time. Campaign consultants have always worked both sides for the money. They now work totally for the oligarchs. Crypto be damned. Here are some mailers sent out for state senator. What's missing in all of these is what district? The absurdity. Someone for state senator for district what? A mailer and campaign ads, letters and such should have what area they're trying to represent, i.e. the numbers that refreshes how the mind works so that in the voting booth, one sees District 24. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that on whom I'm voting for's mailers. I looked up District 24. I didn't remember. That campaign consultants have erased common mental sense is nauseating. The 10 stupid questions email. Do you like Trump? After answering 9 astonishingly stupid questions, they then say donate, then send in the survey. Not send in the survey, then donate. The rank stench of in the effect of being called senile retards. Sorry, but mentally challenged doesn't reflect here because the consultants et al. Are insinuatingly insulting voters, turning off Democrats. It's absurd.
Thank you. Catherine Quinn to be followed by Melissa Brown.
Good evening, everyone. I've been living here for 40 years. I am on a unusual street, Sherwood Drive. Our apartments are 8514 and 8520 Sherwood Drive. It's in the lines of West Hollywood. Originally, when we became a city, the line was moved back from La Cienega to accommodate La Cienega nursery employees and their customers for parking. Well, right now, we are having such a dangerous time in that short little intersection between West Knoll and La Cienega. 2 of our cars have been totaled by drunk drivers coming around the corner. We've also hit our building, and it's just not safe. Now, I know there are bullyards on Hammond, and that protects a lot of the residents from the Sunset Strip. And I just want to know, why don't I deserve that same safety that maybe members who live on other parts of Tri-West are getting, and we are not getting? It's become intolerable. I've taken it up with parking because a lot of the permits are being used by, are illegally by people giving their guest tickets to other people who work here in Los Angeles and not in West Hollywood. So it's a safety issue. The bullyards in Hammond are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., which would work perfectly of our section of Sherwood, because the nursery closes at 5 p.m. and opens at 9 a.m. So that would not hinder any of their business. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you. And our Assistant City Manager, Steve Campbell, is in the back. He's way in the back. If you wanted to, he's raising his hand. If you wanted to go back and talk to him, he could identify who on city staff could help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa Brown, to be followed by Albert Munoz.
Hi, my name is Missy Brown, and I'm an almost 20-year resident of West Hollywood. I'm coming before you today to ask for your support. I've worked at the Writers Guild of America West for 17 years, where I help guild members get stronger contract terms. I'm also here as a bargaining committee co-chair of the Writers Guild Staff Union, the union that represents over 100 employees who work at the Writers Guild. The WGSU became a union nearly a year ago and has been bargaining our first contract since September. We at the WGSU have been on strike since February 17th and are approaching 3 months next week. This is the longest staff union strike in U.S. history, underscoring how unusual it is for a union management to keep its staff on strike for this long. 7 weeks into our strike, we learned that we would lose our health coverage the following day. We didn't start receiving formal notice from our health plan until the day we lost it. This resulted in a gap in coverage for most of us until we were able to retroactively close that gap, and it left my coworkers and me scrambling to figure out what to do. This was a real punch in the gut, but our resolve remains strong despite that. We're at a standstill currently with negotiations. The WGSU started bargaining in September with the hope of finalizing negotiations before the end of October, but here we are in May without a contract. While the WGSU and management have been able to reach agreement on most issues, we are in disagreement in 3 key areas: layoff protections, seniority provisions, and the ability to engage in collective action for the duration of our contract, areas that most consider fundamental pillars of labor agreements. Guild management has said that they made their last, best, and final offer. We are here today to ask for your support to urge our employer to engage with us. Please join other elected leaders in supporting us. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Albert Munoz, to be followed by Chris Hanna.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. My name is Albert Munoz. I'm a proud resident of West Hollywood and a longtime union staffer. I worked at the Writers Guild for 6 years, and now I work at the California Faculty Association, where I have a strong union and a strong union contract. I've followed the negotiations between Guild staff and management closely, and I can assure you that they certainly don't have to be this acrimonious. And they certainly do not need to result in a nearly 3-month-long strike. You've probably followed in the news, the Guild was able to negotiate a new contract with the studios, same with the actors, and that was all done in the same period of time. So I'm here to support my former coworkers and Guild members that are served by the staff. Guild, I've seen many amazing Guild coworkers leave employment because of the way they were treated. I've also seen the Guild fire my former coworker because she helped organize the staff union. That's right, you heard correctly. She was fired for union activity. Fatima Murrieta is one of the most talented union organizers I've worked with, and she's dedicated over 15 years to the labor movement as a member and as a staffer. Not surprisingly, Fatima helped form the staff union and get it off the ground as a lead organizer. However, the day before the staff union went public, she was unexpectedly terminated. Management maintains that she was fired with cause, but the timing says otherwise. Fatima repeatedly received positive performance reviews and was even promoted in 2025. This unexpected termination has sent a ripple of fear throughout the workplace and has set the stage for this negotiations.
Thank you. Your time has expired. Thank you. Chris Hanna, to be followed by Wendy Goldman.
Hello. I have been having problems with CVS since March 30th. CVS has set up a loudspeaker on the roof recommended by code compliance. that broadcasts RoboCop recordings across the street to my building at 1020 North Alfred Street. The recordings occur 24/7 from 1:14 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. I have met with Jackie and Code has told me CVS has a right to use their speaker. When I asked what my rights were, I was told that's a good question. They didn't have an answer for me. I am told Code is going to lower the CVS speaker volume. That was a week ago. No change. There is no talk of stopping the broadcast. I'm assuming CVS pays the city for a speaker permit. Please stop the CVS broadcast. I can hear them through my bedroom window. Also, I have an 8-year complaint about Code compliance. It is not worth a phone call to them. I have had noise problems with Collar & Comb, CVS, Zen, Soho House, and off the charts. The phone system is poor. When I do get someone to come out, the officer would tell me I can't do anything. A recent Sunday afternoon roof party at Soho House from 2 to 7:30 p.m. went ahead full steam. The code officer got back to me well after the party was over. He told me there were many complaints from neighbors. Code was completely unhelpful that afternoon. As money is made available, please improve Code. It would also be better to have someone pick up the phone when a person calls in on the weekend. The current leave a message system is no good. That's it.
Thank you, Chris. Wendy Goldman and Melissa, how are we on time?
We are about 22 minutes in.
All right. Thank you. Wendy?
Good evening, Wendy Goldman, West Hollywood. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Recently, you voted to create a music festival that would potentially bring more than 10,000 guests to the Sunset Strip. You voted to allocate more than $4 million, creating quite a stir among residents. We have patiently waited for investment in improving pedestrian safety along sidewalks and parkways that have been neglected for years. Have you forgotten that you were elected to benefit us also? From 8800 to 9200 Sunset, from Palm Avenue to Doheny Drive, there are pedestrian safety obstacles that have been a source of concern for years. Bump outs, restaurant furniture, large trash cans, signage, and private decor. I am one of many residents who have spoken to you about this need for improvement, yet to date you have not acted. I wonder why this is so. Why have code enforcement officers not done a better job of removing these obstacles? They are ADA violations that must be corrected. When you vote to allow the installation of billboards above buildings on the Strip, don't expect us to look up. You should also be concerned about pedestrians, since we are looking down at degraded sidewalks, parkways, and the lack of green canopy. This is also a poor image for businesses to endure. At the recent Streetscape Symposium event, top landscape designers presented innovative solutions that help beautify inner city areas. If you haven't already, please review the video from this excellent event to illustrate the small parklets that are already installed around the world. We also deserve a more beautiful, safer pedestrian experience to help improve our community. Require owners of long-term vacant storefronts to cover boarded up windows with murals or vinyl artwork, and maintain better properties that don't distract from residents' quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. I'm going to take two more, and then the rest we're going to bump to the end for public comment. Jonathan Wilson and then Leonard Lanzi, and we'll do the one on Zoom as well.
Thank you. Hello, Chair, Vice Chair.
Can you lift the mic, please? Yeah.
Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. With that said, my name is Jonathan Wilson. I am a resident and business owner here in the city. I'm coming to talk to you about a few things. One, thank you for removing the electric vehicle or electric charger from the council agenda. There were just a couple things that I wanted to mention on that. One, we get to know what the taxes paid by Ike would actually be coming out of that. The other thing would be around, in the contract, would be around I suggest instead of having a flat fee of 12.5%, that it would go into a not to exceed 12.5%. The other piece is around organization development. I love this project. However, I also suggest that we actually bring that in-house and we start thinking about ways to actually do continual process improvement inside the city rather than paying $600,000 for an external entity. In addition to that, I just had a question it was just a question around the LA County flag being replaced by the pride flag. Why would we not have just an extra hook for the pride flag to be on there, that we wouldn't have to worry about wasting people's time on trying to approve that or having that part of our process? I think the pride flag is something that should be able to go up there in addition to all of our other government flags. The other piece too, I want to say thank you again for not removing Juneteenth from the consent calendar, and I'm looking forward to that event on June 20th. And then I appreciate the economic development team for going through and putting together, expanding their horizon on how to report out on Q4 and Q1 for 2026. And lastly, I would like to say, please reconsider doing a TODAP for SB 79. I really think that would be opportunity for us to really think about how we want to be as a city, and I don't think rezoning is going to help us. So, thank you.
Thank you. Leonard Lanzi, and then we'll take the speaker on Zoom.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and City Council. I'm here tonight to just commend city staff and the city on a number of initiatives that are on the consent agenda. I didn't want to speak on each of them, but I just want to tell you where the chamber stands and where I stand in supporting the following. B6, that's the advertising billboard off-site at 9039. That's a second reading. Thank you for going ahead and approving that. B7, read that update that staff put together. It's outstanding, and there's a lot of great information in there. B10, WeHo Pride programming update. I'm excited about what's going on with Pride this year and what the city's doing, and the chamber supports all of those initiatives. B11, Juneteenth. Thank you for supporting that holiday, and thank you for putting that on the consent agenda. B15, there's Capital Drugs is doing a health fair coming up on May 16th, and I appreciate the support that the city is giving to Capital Drugs and providing the Russell Ibarra Health Fair. And then two items that are on the regular agenda, E4 and E5. Chamber supports both of the staff recommendations on both of those, and I just want to say thank you. It's always good to come up here and be complimentary, and I just want to make sure that you know that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the speaker on Zoom tonight.
We have Adam Darvish. Adam, you'll have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Adam Darvish. Good evening, Mayor and Vice Mayor and council members and city manager and staff. I'm a resident in West Hollywood for many years. Wanted to thank you for having Vision Zero on the agenda, although as a resident that's been very outspoken about speed limits and speeding cars on residential streets. I remain confused on the focus on how we measure outcome for this initiative that's been, I believe, started 5 or 6 years ago. I know last year we had this on the agenda, and one of the streets that I'm very familiar with, Betty Ray off of Larrabee, you all voted to reduce the speed limit to 20 from 25. If you know Betty Ray, it's just one block, it's a dead-end street. You cannot even go 10 miles per hour, so I'm glad that you all reduced it to 20. But I just makes you wonder how the city looks at the streets, what measures or consultants that are used, what measures are being used to decide on reductions of speed that we're so far behind compared to other cities. I know that we have many accidents on residential streets that are used as a cut through or traffic in the town center or other streets that are using the residential streets like Larrabee and Palm, and we've had several accidents. So I hope one day I will understand what our city is doing with Vision Zero and what's the comprehensive sort of outcome or result or goal or plan or strategy for this initiative. So again, thank you for having it, at least on the agenda, looking at it street by street. On a lighter note, I wanted to let you know if you're looking for cheaper gas, just call me and I'll call my people around Fairmont and get you cheap gas. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We will get to the rest of the public comment later in the meeting. We'll now move to the city manager's report. Jackie, you have a report tonight.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and members of the public. Just one very brief update. The City of West Hollywood and the city's Russian-speaking advisory board will co-sponsor the 25th anniversary of the annual WehoMishka Festival on Sunday, May 17th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Plummer Park. This free community event celebrates the rich traditions, creativity, and lasting contributions of the Russian-speaking community through art, history, language, and performance. The anniversary festival will highlight cultural contributions brought to this country from various regions of the former Soviet Union and provide an opportunity for residents and visitors to gather in celebration of West Hollywood's diverse community life. For more information, please contact the City of West Hollywood at 323-848-6501 or WeHo RUS events at weho.org. And I know there was an item on the Pride Festival, so please make sure you keep up with all the upcoming events that will happen next month as we begin to celebrate WeHo Pride, and we hope that you will all be joining us to have a wonderful celebration once again. That's all that I have for tonight.
Thank you. We'll now turn to the consent calendar. Melissa, what is the fiscal impact of the consent calendar as it's been amended?
Thank you, Mayor. The fiscal impact on tonight's consent calendar with the addition of items E2, F1, and F3 is $2,812,503 in expenditures, $195,300 in revenue, and $44,522 in waived fees. There is a motion and a second to adopt tonight's consent calendar.
And the consent calendar is a series of routine items that we approve with a single motion, and we just approved it. Thank you, everyone. And we'll now turn to our first item of business, which I will find as I flip through my agenda, and that is E1. And David Fenn, are you giving us the brief update, or somebody is giving us a brief update?
Tomorrow's going to start.
Tomorrow's going to start, okay. I think we just need a brief update. Is that what I heard? Yes.
Hi, good evening. We would like to discuss potential speed limit reductions in school zones and on Howard Street, as well as providing an overview of our Vision Zero dashboard, and would also like to recognize Jay and Ronnie in the IT department for collaborating with us on this really interactive dashboard. So with that, I'll pass it over to David.
Good evening, council members. Mayor and Vice Mayor, David Fenn, Senior Planner in the Transportation and Mobility Division. The item before you today has 3 recommendations. One is to direct staff to explore opting into early implementation of AB 382, which is a state law that enables low speed limits in school zones. The second item is to authorize staff to proceed with a new speed zone on Harriet Street between Hammond and San Vicente in response to previous council direction to look at differently designed streets. That would bring that down to 20 miles per hour, but we'd recommend waiting for it to go into effect until other changes are made, given the administrative burden of making one single speed limit change at a time, given the municipal code changes and everything that go along with that. And the final recommendation is to receive and file an update on the city's draft dashboard in development. And if the council would like, we can do a brief demo of that dashboard today.
Brief demo.
So the working URL is in the staff report. It's go.weho.org/vision0 dashboard. It's a simple dashboard that IT was able to build in-house, which is pretty incredible for something of this caliber. It pulls data from the statewide crash database. So it lags a little bit due to the processing that the state does. It won't ever have the most recent crash data. The most recent year is always a little bit provisional in the statewide database, but for the data that is available, that goes all the way back to 2014, you're able to quickly sort the types of crashes, where they occur in the city. So there's different ways to display it. These are right now showing clusters. You can show individual points for crashes. You can filter by individual years and severity. So right now it's showing all crashes from 2014 to 2025 across the city. Perhaps we were interested in fatal injury and severe injury crashes only. You could toggle off the less severe crashes to just see the more severe ones. And you could highlight specific years, let's say the last 5 years, for example. So now we're only seeing fatal and severe crashes for the last 5 years, and you can zoom in on any location. There are some context layers like city facilities, the high injury network from the Vision Zero plan that can also be toggled on and off to provide orientation for map users. As you filter the map based on the years selected and the types of crashes selected, these metrics at the bottom also update in real time. So for what I have selected right now, the last 5 years of data and severe and fatal crashes, you get totals, you get summaries of the corridors that those crashes are occurring on, trends, the top intersections where they're occurring, and the types of crashes. So this is really intended to empower residents and community members that may have questions about the progress of Vision Zero and the city's other safety efforts. And it'll be available for everyone online. There's also a user guide that kind of explains some of the tools. And you can also toggle, I'm gonna turn back on all crashes and have all years available. You can also sort by time of day or the type of crash. So for example, bicycle crashes or unsafe speed. And those same charts will update in real time. So that is a very brief update, but we are available for any questions. And if there's anything else on the dashboard you'd like us to demo, we can do that as well. Thank you.
Councilmember Erickson, and then we have several public speakers.
David, thank you for this. This is very interactive. It's wonderful. Can you go back to the numbers at the beginning? Like I think there were overall numbers that you had for, I saw like a whole, I think I saw like 6 bubbles. I'm trying to get them all now in my head. I think it had totals on there.
I think you're maybe thinking of these?
They were much higher, so I don't know. Oh, okay. And then how does this so what does the filter go to like automatically when you go on there? Is this a blank canvas or do you have like prescribed?
Let's find out. It should just be all crashes, should be the default.
Yeah. Okay. And then I'm guessing that blue is Fountain and the red is Santa Monica?
That's correct.
Okay.
I guess one other way of showing it, if the clusters right now or the individual dots are confusing, there's also a heat map feature that kind of summarizes more generally.
I think that makes it worse, frankly, because I think that tells you that the streets are, these are some mean streets. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you. And it really shows that, not surprisingly, the highest volume of accidents are on the streets with the highest volumes of traffic. But thank you. This is really great information. Wendy Goldman to be followed by Helen Krieger, then Stephen Post.
Wendy Goldman, West Hollywood. Very briefly, I just want to point out that on Harrod Street between San Vicente and Hammond, there are 3 speed bumps, and you cannot go over 15 miles an hour at this time. So I think it's rather ridiculous to talk about 20 miles an hour because even that is going too fast for a speed bump. Thank you.
Thank you. Helen Krieger, to be followed by Stephen Post and then Kyle Brazil.
Hello, Council. Helen Krieger. I'm a resident of West Hollywood, and I'm speaking in my capacity as a resident. I just wanted to encourage you to vote in favor of the staff recommendation on this. Looking at our Vision Zero data, we see that speed is a factor in a lot of collisions in West Hollywood. And looking at that same Vision Zero data, we see that pedestrians are some of the most vulnerable groups. Well, kids are our most vulnerable pedestrians. In the United States, up until 2020, traffic collisions were the #1 killer of children between the ages of 1 and 19. And in some areas, like the LA County area, traffic collisions are still the #1 killer of children between the ages of 2 and 14. So that's our school-aged kids. So I want to really encourage us to look at making it safer around our schools and lowering those speed limits all at once. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Post to be followed by Kyle Brazil.
Hi, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, thank you. Similar to Helen, just wanted to show my support, especially for the reduced speed limits around schools. Given the stats that she just shared, I think it's very important that we're continuing to protect the streets around our children and their students. Additionally, I think some of these things were reflected in the Public Safety Commission comments in the staff report, but I think it would be helpful to include layers like bike lanes, no turn on red additions, and bus stops into the dashboard, as that would help us, especially on the Public Safety Commission, to give a little bit more understanding and context to where some of these incidents are happening. I think that might be able to help us adjust some of those infrastructure pieces and better serve the pedestrian safety. So thank you.
Thank you. Kyle Brazil, and then we have some citizen position slips.
Hi, Kyle Brazil, resident of West Hollywood. I want to speak specifically to the dashboard and the use of data in decision-making around street safety. I think we're all for a decline in the number of collisions in our community and for any common sense policies that can deliver those results. What I haven't seen from the city is a connection of that data to the policies being implemented. For example, we're talking about placing bike lanes on Beverly Boulevard. I think spending about $250,000 to estimate or to look at feasibility of that solution. If you look at collision history for that same period that staff uses in this dashboard, there have been 4 bike collisions. There's never been a fatality on that stretch of road. Pedestrians are 4 times as likely to get hit on that road. So again, as I think about the ability to use data, it's only helpful. It's not helpful to see a dashboard. Staff has done a great job on the visualization of that data, making it accessible to the public, but this really only has an impact if we start tying that to the decisions being made. So again, what I'd encourage our council to walk away with is when you look at those dashboards consistently, pedestrians are the #1 vulnerable community impacted by traffic safety issues, then it's motorcycles, and then it's cycles. We have to get into a mentality of using the data in a way that informs our public policy decisions, not just taking a blanket approach to throwing bike lanes on every road. So again, I would hope that our council will use this dashboard, use the data to inform policies that balance needs for mobility and parking within our community while still prioritizing things that will actually have the greatest impact for improving street safety. Thank you.
Thank you. And then there are some position slips, Melissa?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Kevin Burton and Alicia Rosenberg submitted citizen position slips in support of staff's recommendation.
Great. Thank you. Is there council discussion, or are we just prepared to move staff's recommendation? Oh, we are prepared to move staff's recommendation. There's a motion and a second. Councilmember Meister.
Yeah, I have some questions or maybe some discussion. So one of our speakers brought up the fact that there are speed bumps on one street where you really can't go over 15 miles per hour. So to change it to 20 doesn't necessarily make sense. Can we go lower? Or do we have the ability to go lower than what is being recommended here?
So our consultant, Sean Carney from DKS, is on the line. He may be able to chime in, but while he's joining, one of the other recommendations would be looking at lower speed limits around school zones, and Harriet is potentially a school zone at, I believe it's West Hollywood Elementary.
That's right.
Yeah, so that would be an opportunity for us to look at lower speed limits on that street in particular, but I see Sean has his hand up and can maybe chime in with some additional context.
Yeah, so speaking to what the state law allows, the speed limit is allowed on residential streets to be set as low as 15 miles per hour if the data collected supports it. That would require that the measured 85th percentile speed on the street be 17 miles per hour or lower. The speed survey that was conducted showed that the 85th percentile speed on Parrot was 21 miles per hour, so we are only allowed to set it to 20 per the state law.
Even though it's by a school?
The school zone can be set lower, and that is one of the other items that David brought before you. So with the school zones, we are allowed to set as low as 15 during school periods, and that would be the school zone speed limit rather than the speed limit that applies at all times of the day.
So wouldn't Harrod be considered school zone? I mean, it's
It could be.
it's the school.
During the school pickup and release period, the city can set it to 15 miles per hour, particularly if we move forward with the AB 382 study that staff recommended.
And you're recommending that we move forward with that study, correct? And that would allow us to do this not only at Harrod, but other streets that would qualify as school zones?
Correct. We'd recommend working with DCAS to bring back some recommendations to you on school zones in terms of, do we take them all to 20? Do we take them all to 15? What is the radius? When do we want to implement them? The state's given us the authority to go farther than we were able to before. But it will take some analysis that we'd recommend bringing back to you.
And you're recommending now that we go to 20, but we do that when we have other signs.
Correct.
So we're doing it efficiently. Okay. Councilmember, were you?
Well, I was just
Yeah.
going to say, do we want to wait when it has to do with, pedestrian safety? I mean, I understand that we want to, do things in a way that, that is, it makes sense in terms of money, but, I don't know how long is the study going to take? And what other schools are we looking at? I assume we're looking at Laurel and we're looking at Rosewood School, because there are some streets that are.
So I don't have a list in front of me, but that's one of the things that we're looking to define is what counts as a school zone for the city, because we don't currently have a defined list of that ready to go. But we're open to all input on that. It could be as expansive or as limited as the council would like. Oh, on the first part of your question, sorry, related to why wait, it's just it's a fairly extensive process to change the speed limit. It's two-part municipal code change that would have to come to the council. It's a notice of exemption that has to be filed with the county. So, and a new sign order with a contractor, et cetera. It's really a lot of work to go into for one individual street. And in this case, the speed survey that was done indicated that there is a very, the speeds are currently 21. So setting the side to 20 is going to have a very modest impact. It just doesn't, it's not a good use of resources to go through all of that for that one small change when we can lump it in with a larger change that we're potentially coming back to you all with in early next fiscal year.
Right, but you're considering 15, which would be a bigger change than 21.
Correct.
Right. But we can't do 15
Until the
now
study.
because we have to do the study first.
Got it.
Correct.
And when is the study coming back to us, or going forward and coming back to us?
So we would be looking to start it early in the next fiscal year, and then once we complete that analysis, we would come back to you. We'd also have to check and see if we can start doing that work when school's out of session, or likely it would have to, counts would have to start at the beginning, or like once school's back in session, so that it's realistic conditions and defensible from a CEQA perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Erickson and then Councilmember Byers.
I guess it always comes down to enforcement for me. So we do this, and I know I've been up on Harrod Street with Wendy before and other places before the school zones, and people still speed by, children are still at risk, families, pedestrians, everyone. What also are we doing in alignment to to enforce the lower speed. I mean, we lowered speeds on Fountain, and I think I almost got whiplash this past Saturday from a car going so fast. They clearly were observing the rules of the road. But, I mean, what other tools do we have? I mean, I know is Fanny here? No. Oh, see Danny. I can't believe I can see that far away, Danny, that you're shaking your head. But, I mean, our sheriff's department, I mean, you can't ticket your way out of these problems. I mean, you can. I mean, tickets in these types of zones are higher, but I agree with what Councilmember Meister is saying, is that we want to make sure this is a diligent approach to safety, but we could lower it to 2 miles an hour, and we're still going to see a person in an Escalade fly up Harrod Street.
So the sheriff does do rotating targeted enforcement operations. I believe there was one focused on bicycles on Fountain recently. I don't want to speak for them on what other operations they have planned, but they certainly respond to input from the city on where to do those. We have been advocating for several years to join the state speed camera pilot program. We were unsuccessful this year with our state representatives on that, but the city continues to advocate for that every year, as do other cities like Santa Monica, and there is more data supporting it now from cities where it's been implemented, like San Francisco. So I'm optimistic that eventually that'll get opened up to more cities. It's right now limited to the 6 original cities, and I believe Malibu is the only one that's been successfully added because of some highly politicized crashes on PCH. Apart from that, we really look to work with the sheriff department on prioritizing limited resources for enforcement. But the other thing that can happen with speeding is traffic calming improvements. In the case of Harrod Street, as I believe Wendy Goldman mentioned, there's already speed humps on the street and other things. So there's a limited toolbox, and many of them are already being applied in that situation.
I don't want to go down the logic of speed humps, because after visiting Fountain Day School a couple of weeks ago, they were kind of telling me that there are speed humps now that people can just easily go over and not have to have any issues with their cars. And so is there a certain type, I mean, I was really shocked to hear this, but is there a certain type of speed hump that will just completely mess up someone's car that we can use? I mean, that teaches them a lesson. I'm terrified of speed humps, because I'm always like, oh, there they are, right? And my little car is gonna, go to the mechanic. But are there different types of speed humps that we can install that would make it more egregious for people that are speeding? I know in parts of South LA, they have the actual divots in the road that really make your car will bottom out. I mean, what other options do we have?
So I would certainly defer to our engineering staff on the latest and greatest in speed bumps. I will say one change that's happened recently is you'll see speed bumps that they have brakes in them at the width of fire engine wheelbases, so that fire trucks can continue to get through them without needing to slow down. Certainly, depending on the street, individual motorists may learn that they can position one of their tires in one of those divots to kind of have less of an impact from the speed bump. But as for other more intensive speed bumps, I don't have more detailed information for you, but we can get back to you if you'd like.
I look forward to a symposium on speed bumps one of these days, so thank you very much.
Councilmember Byers.
No.
I was just going to say one other thing to note is that beyond the enforcement, there is, for there to be things that are enforceable, the observed speed has to be above a certain amount, above the posted speed limit. So if you lower the speed limit too much, but the design of the street allows for faster speeds, someone can fight the ticket and it's not enforceable. So that's where the traffic calming plays a role, and it goes beyond, speed humps are one of the solutions, but that's where all of these pieces work together, working with enforcement and working on the engineering side of the streets.
Thank you. Councilmember Byers.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the demonstration of the dashboard, and I'm really grateful for your thinking around a holistic approach as how we address the schools. And I'm hearing you make considerations between how far we go in that study, and I think this council is interested in seeing a very far-reaching study up to the letter of the law and just after if we can. But we know that these ability to lower the speeds, especially as it's around school zones, is critical way that we can promote safety. And I'm remembering the last time you brought this opportunity to sort of comprehensively lower a bunch of speed limits. The media made hay of it. There were stories all up throughout the news, West Hollywood's lowering speed limits. And I think we benefit from a big citywide holistic approach because we get the benefit of that promotion, which acts as, you know, our big mouthpiece, while we don't and always have the ability to have enforcement on every single street 24/7. That promotion and marketing, I think, helps tell the story of what we're looking to achieve in the city too. So I appreciate that approach. I'm concerned that it will take some time, but I know you are all working as fast as possible to make sure that that study can go forward. And so I think it's the best use of our time that we do it as comprehensively as possible when we have that in front of us. Thanks.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much for the robust presentation. I really like the dashboard. It looks really cool. Kudos to the internal staff that did it. It looks as if you guys went to an outside consulting agency and they put it together. It looks very professional. As far as the safety component is concerned, I am in agreement with my colleague, Councilmember Erickson, about the enforcement aspect of it, but I trust that you'll be able to work with public safety, community safety, and the sheriffs to come up with a wide-ranging plan to accommodate that, because safety is important for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we ready to take a vote to approve staff's recommendation? Is there a motion? I see a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we can go ahead and vote. Thank you, everyone. It is approved. We'll now turn to item E3. This is the City Playhouse update. Do we need an extensive staff presentation? No. But we may have some questions, so I see Helen is already here.
The only reason why I didn't move this is because I thought there was direction required, but maybe.
Yeah, there is. Steve, are you giving the report?
I am. Thank you, Mayor. So good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. First, I'd like to introduce the project team, including myself, Steve Campbell, the Assistant City Manager, Helen Collins, our Director of Public Works, Rick Abramson, the City Architect, Ryan Kristen, who is our Project Manager with Cumming Group, and Rebecca Eamon, who is the Arts Manager. All have been actively involved in preparing the project, and we are at a crossroads tonight. Well, not really a crossroads, but it's certainly a significant milestone in the progression of a challenging yet exciting project that satisfies the goals of the city's strategic plan and meets the needs of the community at large. Through the efforts of the project team, the schematic design process, and the incorporation of the input received from various design steering committee meetings. Are we not up?
We're not up yet. Yeah. We're just switching. There we go.
There we go.
Thank you.
So through the incorporation and input received from various design steering community meetings and the technical consultant, the Playhouse vision has transformed from a basic 99-seat black box theater to an enhanced 6,200 square foot, 99-seat, two-story theater with a mezzanine and a traditional proscenium stage and performance space with a 2,800 square foot outside garden space. Council also recently approved the relocation of the project from its original location to the corner of Flores and Santa Monica Boulevard, which has introduced an on-street drop-off area and necessitated the need for additional public right-of-way improvements. Staff believes that this relocation will enhance the visibility of the project, showcasing the Playhouse while activating the surrounding areas and retail establishments along the boulevard. With council approval and direction to proceed, the project will also meet the city's sustainability goals by incorporating a leadership in energy and environmental design, or a LEED gold standard. The city has previously achieved LEED silver for its library project and LEED gold for the Aquatic and Recreation Center project. Tonight's item specifically requests that the City Council establish an overall total project budget of $26 million for design and construction of the Playhouse. That number includes money that has already been spent to get us through the schematic design. This amount incorporates all soft costs, including design work, surveys, testing, inspections, etc., and hard costs, including demolition, construction, and a public art component. The budget also includes contingency funding amounts to account for unforeseen circumstances and necessary changes that will undoubtedly occur along the way. Staff is requesting an allocation tonight of $2,070,309 into the project account to continue with design of the project with Perkins & Will, and also to provide funding for additional pre-construction professional services as may be required, such as geotechnical reports, hazardous materials testing and abatement, art consultants, and other professional services as needed to move into the construction phase. The remainder of the funding needed for construction will be requested as a subsequent budget allocation along with project award anticipated in Q3 2027, or as part of the mid-cycle adjustments to the 2-year budget. The item also requests approval of the project schedule with anticipated opening of the Playhouse in late 2029 or early 2030. Staff is actively looking at and considering options for expediting that schedule, and consideration includes potential demolition ahead of bidding for construction. This action could potentially shave several months off of the schedule. So that concludes a very brief staff report, and we're available for any questions.
And I see Vice Mayor Hang's button pushed, or is that's from previous? Okay. Are there any questions for staff? Comments? Are we ready to go to discussion? First of all, thank you. Before I call on my colleagues, thank you all for your work, and Rick as well for getting us here. Councilmember Erickson.
Yes, thank you so much. This is something that is truly exciting, and when you said the word shave off months out of construction, Steve, I think all of our ears perked up because we want to see this get done as soon as possible. This is something that cities dream of doing, and investing in the arts in this way, expanding it into the way that we are able to with the purchase of the property. I'm really excited to see not only a thoughtful staff report, but something that really I think is going to be a crown in the city's cap. This will be our new library, our new park facility, something that people will come to want to use. So I want to say thank you. I want to also commend the staff as well, and Rick and everyone that's done this, as well as my colleague, Councilmember Byers, for the work that she played on the subcommittee. And I would say as soon as we can get those shovels in the ground and going, the better, because the arts are being radically defunded everywhere, from schools all the way up to our national environment. And so whatever we can do to get playhouses, arts content, all the things that we can do here will be important. So if you ever need to come back to us with how we can shave more time off the period, I think we're all very interested in that investment. So thank you very much.
Understood. Thank you.
And thank you to the subcommittee that worked on this. Are we ready to vote on this? Councilmember Meister, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. No, I just want to say that I think this project is extremely important for us to activate that part of the city and that part of Santa Monica Boulevard and the adjacent businesses. So obviously, you know, working on getting it faster is a good thing. My only concern about the demolition happening sooner rather than later is having another empty lot. And so I just want us to be very sensitive to that. And, you know, I don't know what it means, if it should be another community garden or nothing or whatever, but I think we should think about it.
Okay. Melissa, did we have a speaker on this item? No?
Ed said that he wishes to speak on this item. Okay, go on.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ed.
Real quick, I just wanted, just not to take a whole lot of time, I just wanted to say thank you for, I read the staff report, and I've read on page 4 where it says that the project now also includes improvements to the public right-of-way for drops-offs on floors. That's something that I spoke out. Can we bring the requested recommended approvals slide back up? Because I was looking at the rendering of the, okay, I see it. I was looking to make sure it was still in the picture. That was it. I just want to say thank you for adding that in there. On floors, appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Are we ready to take a vote now? There's a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. It's approved. Thank you, everyone. E4 and E5 are both economic development issues. Do we have speakers on these, Melissa?
We do not have speakers on either one.
Okay, so maybe you can do both at the same time. I think both of them you're looking for a little bit of direction, correct?
Correct. Thank you so much, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Laura Byrie, Director of Economic Development for the City of West Hollywood. I'm joined this evening for both of these items by my colleagues, our Business Development Manager, Paolo Kesperdet, our Business Development Analyst, Laura D'Ambrosia, as well as Jeff Morris, who's the Chief Marketing Officer from Visit West Hollywood, and representatives from JJLA, as well as Lucky Break PR.
And I don't think we need an extensive staff report. Also, the previous item was approved. It's still on our screen, but if anyone was wondering. All right.
I think Granicus is stuck.
It's stuck? Okay. We all are a little bit. All right.
We'll move into really quickly the WeHo Loves Locals gift card program update, and I'll turn it over to Paolo Kesperdet for a very brief presentation.
Great. Per the council's request, we're going to combine both item E4 and item E5 together for the council and the public. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, Paolo Kesperdet, Business Development Manager, to talk about the WeHo Loves Locals gift card program update. As you know, this program was started back in May of last year per council direction, and we entered into an agreement with Visit West Hollywood to provide a gift card, a citywide gift card for businesses who want to participate. Through this program, we provided a 50% promotional bonus gift card through the program itself. And I just want to highlight one statistic in particular that I think is important for this discussion, which is that through the course of the program, we provided to the local economy $531,000 through all the gift cards that were issued. So I think that's a testament to the council's work and the community's partnership as part of this program. And so tonight we're asking for your direction on the future of WeHo Loves Locals and the future funding levels for the WeHo Loves Locals program. Also for item E5, which is the Rainbow District one-year progress update, the staff report has the 14 recommendation items that the council approved last year. We're here coming back with an update on that progress, and again, just to get the council's feedback on direction for the future of those programs for this upcoming budget cycle. And that ends staff's report.
All right, well, let's try to deal with the first one, WeHo Loves Locals gift card program. Are there any questions on this item? Are we comfortable moving forward with it as recommended by staff?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it sounds like we are. And because Granicus is stuck, we are going to have to do an oral motion and an oral second.
I'm happy to make the motion, but before I do, I just want to thank Councilmember Byers for bringing this item forward originally and the council for approving it. I think I still have a gift card I still haven't used, so I have to go back and do it. I bought it, so whatever that meant, but there we go. And I was also publicly shamed by my colleague for not using it. So thank you, Councilmember Byers. You've done a great job being an ambassador, but I did find a lot of people really using this, and so I thought it was a great opportunity and economic investment into our businesses and something that we can really see a great return on investment. And thank you, Paulo, Laura, and Laura also, and all the great work that you did, because everyone, I think, had a gift card because of your great ambassadorship. So very good and happy to support this item.
So was that was a motion to approve?
Yes, with a little commentary.
With gratitude.
With gratitude.
Gratitude. Is there a second?
Yes, with gratitude.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we approve staff's recommendation. We're going to call the vote orally, or is Granicus working again? All right, so can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Byers?
Yes.
Councilmember Meister?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hang?
Aye.
And Mayor Heilman?
Yes.
It's been approved.
So
Thank you.
that is approved, and now we'll turn to the Rainbow District recommendation. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Meister.
I actually have questions. And first of all, on page 9, you talk about a First of all, is this something that can be decided when we do the budget? I know that this is a big amount of money, and I know that, we have the budget discussion coming, so I kind of feel like that's something to think about, okay?
And Paolo, my understanding is the recommendation would be to incorporate this into the next fiscal year budget, if we approve it.
That would be correct. So you are all receiving a budget study session at your next council meeting on May 18th. And so we wanted to get in front of you first to see what the council's temperature was as far as continuing these programs. And if the council does decide to continue any of these programs, then those would be looked in as part of the 2-year budget cycle.
Okay. First of all, there was a survey of businesses, and apparently there were 18 businesses that answered. Do you know how many businesses the survey was sent to?
We sent the survey out to 71 email addresses. So some of them have multiple duplicates, so I would say a little over 50 businesses were sent the survey.
Okay. Because that's not a great response, and obviously we have to look at these percentages qualitatively and not quantitatively. And honestly, I was a little surprised at the percentages. The 39% of 18 businesses is only 7 businesses. And 58% who found it valuable, that's only 4 businesses. 44%, these are numbers that are coming from the survey, not even half and said that they participated, and only half reported that they benefited of those. So I'm just not I'm not confident that this survey is demonstrating the success that we would like to see with this program. And also on the point about that there were on the survey five items were ranked. Do you have actual numbers on who answered each on what on each one? What was the most important? Because it says top 5 rankings, but it doesn't say which one was the most important. Was it public safety, or was it marketing?
Sure, certainly. I think with the Rainbow District programs, to address the first question there, the actual special events and marketing, even though this was approved by council last April, the marketing and promotions and special events didn't really launch off until about September of last year. So the window in which we're coming kind of back with the special events reporting and the marketing reporting is a shorter window than actually you had approved the item in the original last year. That being said, certainly I think that there is room for improvement as far as getting the word out to our businesses that we do have these special event activations and getting more businesses involved in the marketing promotions. But through that work, I think we have definitely seen, and at least the conversations we've had, maybe it's not through the actual survey itself, but through the work that our team has done here talking to businesses, they do find it generally very helpful. And it's a newer program, so it's going to take a little time to kind of get buy-in from everybody to be part of it. On the second question on the rank order, yes, so the top 5 items that the survey resulted in was public safety, special events and activations, marketing programs, the business spotlights, and then cleanliness. So it was the exact order that was in there. We just didn't rank it 1 to 5.
Got it. Okay, thank you for that. Then on I think it's page 9 of the staff report, you talk about staff attending the International Council of Shopping Centers conference in May, and I'm just curious why that why that particular conference? I mean, it seems to me, I would understand going to business conferences, but shopping centers, I don't know that we even have
if I may,
maybe 2 shopping centers.
If I may, Councilmember, I had that same thought, and so the title is very outdated for the organization itself of what the shopping centers conference is. It's not necessarily shopping centers anymore. It is a very marketable conference that our surrounding cities, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Culver City, all go to. I think we were the only city that wasn't going in attendance. So I think maybe we can also send an email saying they should update their name. But also it is something that very luxury brand-based businesses are going to. And from what I've been understanding and from my own individualized research, because I had similar thoughts, there are a number of brands that have opened up in West Hollywood that had the opportunity to go to other places but came here. I believe the Chokaya, Sunset, and some other restaurant chains and other places were a couple of them.
So it just might be helpful in the future to give a description of the conference, because I didn't have time to look it up on Google, and it's just, it obviously doesn't describe what it actually is and what value it will bring to the city. And I'm sure if it's about retail stores that it will bring some value to the city. I want to talk about the social media numbers, because we had 3 different companies working on this, right? We had LB, we had the Visitors Bureau, and we had JJLA. And I'm just curious if you were able to look at those social media numbers and sort of do a comparison to see who, which, it might be that one might have been more effective on that front than another. And so I want to see our dollars going to the ones that were most effective in providing those social media hits and the followers and the interactions. And I don't know, if that's something you have, that you can discuss now. But again, that's sort of why I said I'd like to wait. Unless council is not, unless you are not specifically saying what you are allocating for each organization exactly tonight. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want there to really be an analysis of who's doing which thing the companies are best at, and that we're allocating money in a smart way. Do you have any input on that?
Yeah, I think just some general thoughts. The Lucky Break PR, they do both the social media marketing for us and also the public relations work. For the social media marketing, they were in charge of developing the actual social media platforms that we have, both on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And those have been performing quite well from a new brand that just started a few months ago. We got 40,000 views just on the first video where we launched the Rainbow District marketing. We launched a brand new branding campaign for the Rainbow District itself too. So I certainly think the dollars are going well for our marketing and PR. On the PR side, we've gotten coverage through National Geographic, Gaiety, and a bunch of other large firms as well too that have millions of impressions. On the event services or the special events itself, our task to JJLA to do this work was give us a variety of programs to see what could work in the Rainbow District. So the first one, the Winter Market, was an event that tagged along to another event, so our ice skating rink event, to see what foot traffic could maybe benefit both activations at the same time. The second one was more social driven for our Red Hots activation that happened there, to see if maybe if we did something in person, kind of on a smaller scale, if that would resonate with people. Then we did Go-Go Madness, which is our Go-Go Dancer Appreciation Month, to kind of get more business buy-in as far as part of the programs, and then finally closed out with Mumus and Mimosas. Certainly, we saw the best foot traffic when we activated on a much larger scale. So when we had tents out on the street, that certainly got more eyes, certainly got more foot traffic. People, even on social, as we promoted the videos, said that they certainly liked the liveliness that was coming back to the Rainbow District. So certainly that worked quite well. And then Visit West Hollywood for us is a partner for this, where they're actually the administrator for the marketing and PR. So we also have the brainpower of Visit West Hollywood, who are experts in marketing our city, to help us with this effort as well too.
Right.
But that's just in a general sense of what we would say were the successes from it.
Yeah, okay, and that's fine, and I know that everyone has their expertise, and what I'm just suggesting is that whatever budget we do allocate towards this, that we we leverage it to what is going well, and shift what may be not going well.
Yes, Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank you for the presentation. First of all, the Rainbow District social media platform on Instagram is great. It's attracting a lot of views, very creative. I think it was a positive move for your team to contract out with Lucky Break PR. I think the first year, $30,000 was allocated to see if there was any appetite for such a program. The second year, or soon after that, it was $65,000 that was allocated, and now you're asking for $100,000. I think that's a good starting amount. I see this as an investment into our Rainbow District. I don't know if that's going to be the right amount that is needed, but perhaps somebody else mentioned perhaps revisiting this in the future budget cycle might be helpful. If more is needed, I don't know if $100,000 is the answer, is what I'm saying. But I do appreciate your team, JJLA, all the work that Lucky Break PR is doing. I think it's fantastic. And I think the allocation for the events is great too. I was not in town, but Moo-Moos and Mimosas, I'm hearing that it was very successful. There were multiple activations that day. I believe certain council members were out there distributing, testing drink spike strips while people were moving around in their Moo-Moos with Mimosas. So I think it's a double activation for our city. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Byers.
Thank you. I'm really excited about the progress after 1 year. A couple of things that I just want to pull out. The drop-off zones, it sounds like you'll come back sometime this summer with an update on how that's looking. I think some concerns I have as foot traffic increases, we're into those summer nights, there's a lot of people out there. So I'm looking to creative strategies that would help deal with the traffic flows. Curious, the ways that we could maybe shut down a lane of traffic, trigger some things like that on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights when population's big out there. Just other ways to really manage the ability for people to take over the Rainbow District itself in a really safe way by actively finding triggers that could reduce traffic flow through that space and make it a little bit safer. And drop zones are a huge component to what that looks like. The pickup, I know we're just sort of seeing how those Thursday nights look, so really interested in that data as it comes back when there's more time to understand how that Thursday night's working. But the all-way crosswalk at San Vicente and Santa Monica is just something, again, I know it's an early test grounds right now, but I think getting to a place where it's really working well is having it be 24/7 all the time and have really strong messaging in those areas. I know I was just out there the other night and I think it actually skipped a cycle. So when it skips cycles, people are even more compelled to jump and just go out there on that red hand. So I really want to see that all-way crosswalk work well, and I think part of that means getting to 24/7. So just want to put that out there. Wendy Goldman's talked a lot about business, when there's a vacant business, having thoughtful art or wraps on them. I think we're actually at a really great moment right now in the Rainbow District where there aren't a ton of visibility or vacancies, maybe just one or two that come to mind quickly. But as I think about that, it makes me think about the unique opportunity to do mural or art wraps in support of those vacant businesses that are in the spirit of the Rainbow District. So maybe something we can anticipate should we need that to happen. And then lastly, it's sort of beyond, and I don't want to add another recommendation while we're just at a 1 year update, but I keep thinking about that space in front of the car wash that feels so disjointed and absent of real connection. There's another one on the metro side too, but it's less of a mobility space for pedestrians. And if lighting, especially rainbow lighting, could be an option there, something that creates some continuity on that part of the sidewalk where there is a business, but its activation isn't quite part of the nightlife entertainment scene here. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the work and the promotion of the Rainbow District. I had a couple of comments that I wanted to share. One, in terms of promoting the area, we've talked about maybe wrapping some of the lights with rainbow flags, etc. Are we taking a short break? That's just Granicus acting up again. Grouchy Granicus tonight. Okay. One idea that we've talked about at the Pride Subcommittee is that a lot of the businesses in that area, they don't have rainbow flags themselves. So maybe part of what we could do is have a program where we're actually encouraging or providing updated progress flags for all of the businesses in the area and encouraging them to fly them or to have decals or posters to really celebrate this as the Rainbow District. One of the issues, of course, that we need to be concerned about is public safety. We've had a couple of incidents that can easily spoil all of the marketing that we've done. So that's something that I think we need to really work closely with the businesses and public safety to try to get a handle on that. One thing that I noticed is sort of a disconnect between the businesses and the activations. So I was there for the Mumus and Mimosas, and a lot of those sort of tented areas, they weren't the businesses along the street. And it seems like that should be what we are promoting, the businesses that are already there, and maybe creating opportunities for them to be activators rather than bringing in outside vendors or outside entities, which I think we did. And some of them were great, but I think it'd be better to really promote the businesses that are actually there if we can come up with a way for them to do that. So those were my thoughts on this. Your recommendation is to sort of continue these programs and to give direction on the proposed funding. Councilmember Meister is suggesting maybe we hold off on the funding piece until we get the budget. How does council feel about that? Or move forward. Okay.
I'm fine to move forward. They need the funding now to be able to carry the work out.
Of course, all of this is tentative because we're going to have to approve the budget, and this is for next fiscal year. But maybe we can at least flag this for our budget discussion so that if we decide that the money can be better spent or that we want to add money, we can do that. So we comfortable going forward with these recommended allocations and then just flagging this as a topic for discussion in the budget.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and second, and we're also going to have to do a voice vote.
Yes, so there's a motion from Councilmember Erickson, seconded by Vice Mayor Hang, to approve staff's recommendation. Councilmember Byers.
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson.
Yes.
Councilmember Meister.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hang.
Aye.
Mayor Heilman.
Aye.
And the motion passes 5-0.
And there was the direction that this be flagged for our budget discussion.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you, everyone. And we'll now turn to our last agenda item, F2. Correct? Yes. All right, and this is an item that I brought forward, and I know Councilmember Meister has some questions on it. As you recall, we approved the state fire hazard severity zone maps. We had no choice. We are obligated to approve those maps. We did so. Since those maps have been approved, a number of the properties that are in the hazard severity zone have gotten, we've received reports that some of them have gotten significant insurance increases. Others have all received a notice from the LA County Fire Department that they're subject to inspection. There's a annual inspection fee, and many of them are going to be required to remove some of their landscaping. So this item directs staff to research the impacts that those fire safety zones are having on West Hollywood property owners, trying to identify what problems exist. to evaluate the opportunities for the city to join a coalition of cities asking the state fire department to reconsider or redefine the 2025 maps that were approved. I know that we're all committed to fire safety, but we also want to make sure that our property owners can afford insurance and that they aren't subject to obligations that don't make sense given the level of risk for their specific property. And I'll turn to Councilmember Meister, who works in this area.
Yeah, no, I totally appreciate the item, and I share the concern about the impacts, especially financial impacts, that residents or property owners may be experiencing. My concern is that we don't conflate state fire hazard science with the policy impacts that are actually driven by other systems. So rather than say, would you reconsider this, I think my suggestion would be to say, can you, for full transparency, tell us how we got to this place, and rather than looking like we're challenging the credibility of the fire maps, really just try to get information about the methodology, and then also, but separately, is the insurance companies. And the issue with the insurance companies and is actually, they're going to do what they're going to do. So I think that should be a separate lobbying effort. And all I kept thinking about was after the Paradise Fire, there was a documentary that was done by a reporter. And at the very end, they show the city council, and they have CAL FIRE making recommendations about changes to their code, their building code, to protect these property owners from future fires. The whole town of Paradise was destroyed. And one by one, the city council knocked down CAL FIRE's recommendations. Oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, no, we can't do that. No, we can't have, 5 feet from the house that we can't plant. And so it just made a very big impact on me, because I think this is not really, for me, it should not be about whether the fire maps are credible. It should be, can you tell us how these, give us some transparency as to how these zones were, how they came up with these levels of hazard, but also a separate conversation about insurance companies, because they have their own models for deciding on insurance and how much they're going to charge. I mean, I don't know, any other homeowners got their bill for just homeowners insurance went up, 40%, like 30 to 40% this year because of the fires. And even though maybe I'm not in a fire zone, my insurance went up as well. So it's really two different, I just don't want to see those conversations conflated, and I don't want us to be the city that says, that joins with cities that may be doing this, not thinking about the credibility aspect of what the CAL FIRE and the maps are what they represent.
Yeah, and certainly my intention is not for us to blindly join with a group of cities who are opposed to fire maps because they just don't like state control at all. My goal here is for us to really look at the impacts on our residents, our property owners. I'm perfectly comfortable with your approach of asking the state department, fire department, to provide us with information as to how they determined and whether those determinations are really based on science or based on other considerations, so that we can really evaluate whether some of our properties are appropriately in those zones.
Right, and I would just add to your report the suggestion that when we look at coalitions, that we really look at the cities that are involved and why they're really doing it.
Right. And
Before-
make
before
sure
we
they're
join.
consistent with our values.
Right,
Yeah.
before we join any coalition.
Agreed. Councilmember Byers.
Mayor, I really appreciate you bringing this item forward. It harkens back to the seismic retrofitting ordinance, some ways that just because of these disasters in the natural environment we live in, property owners are in precarious circumstances. So I'm sort of thinking beyond just joining this coalition, but as part of the learning from joining other cities in this space, what are other cities doing to track buildings that are up against these financial circumstances and working to support those property owners and certainly the tenants who live in those buildings from whatever may unfold. We heard how many buildings have not complied with the seismic retrofitting ordinance. If insurance is not something that can be negotiated but is just increased in really dramatic ways, I imagine property owners are facing hard decisions. And I think to whatever extent we as a city can learn from others, how they're tracking and working in these scenarios, we should start doing so. So thank you for bringing this item. It's really visionary, and I appreciate the way you're trying to make sure we have stability in our housing here in the city.
And it also impacts renter insurance as well with those individuals that were impacted.
And the state law actually specifies, or the state direction specifies, that these maps are not to be used for insurance setting, but I think we all know that the insurance companies will use pretty much any excuse to hike premiums. Are we prepared to vote on this with the direction and clarification? I'll make the motion.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded, and again, we need to do a voice vote.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Byers?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson? Yes. Councilmember Meister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Heng?
All right.
Mayor Heilman?
Yes.
And the motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, everyone. We'll now turn to the public comment that we didn't get at the earlier portion of the meeting. I apologize for that. Melissa, you're going to have to call the names because I can't see them.
Yes, we are still taking a short break, apparently. Sue Acito. And Sue will be followed by Andy. And Sue, you'll have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Hi, Council. Thank you for staying awake this late. I'm here to just advocate that the Seeds of Hope Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. farmers market return to the original location at the WeHo San Vicente Park, kind of where we're at right now. Last week's relocation was to a small, secluded Kings Road Park community room, and I feel that it was a poor choice. The San Vicente location is a much better option for a few reasons. It's very ADA compliant for wheelchairs, people with canes, people with strollers, people with walkers. It's also easy for the volunteers to unload the produce and other equipment. The space is also a community hub. Like, there's a reason why we're having this meeting here and not at City Hall or at another smaller community location. And I mean, there's a library, et cetera, et cetera. There's also abundant parking in the parking lot, and it's served by Metro lines. We have the 4 bus, the 16, the 105 north and south, and then the nearby 2. And I know that you all care about public transit because we have like the Ride the D Metro promotional material that's been on social media. And I also wanted to bring up that HUD recently updated their fiscal year 2026 home income limits for a single person, and low income jumped from $84,000 in 2025, and now low income is considered $93,300. And I know that I would be low income according to this, and I would venture to guess that a few other folks in the room would be. And yeah, I just really believe that we are here to serve all community members, and I know that we did just open an Erewhon on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I'm just hoping that we can bring this.
Thank you, Sue.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. I don't have the timer either, so you're going to
Yeah,
have to do that.
I got
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Andy, to be followed by Nick Roybal.
All right, let's see how we can situate this. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, council members. My name is Andy. I stand before you as a resident of the WeHo houseless community. And for these 2 minutes, I'm standing in a tremendous amount of pain, of physical pain, wearing everything I own to prove a point about the crisis of storage and stability. Seeing me only as this negates the fact that I am a retired long-term care behavioral health nurse and a former director of outreach. I have navigated the federal bureaucracy of the continuum of care, utilizing access to HMIS for coordinated housing. Yes, I'm clearly in crisis and distress, but I also can advocate for myself, which many of our houseless neighbors who are not able to take care of their own activities of daily living out here by themselves need. I see a local hypocrisy that cannot be ignored. You speak democratic talking points at rallies to hold federal power to account, yet remain silent as SNAP and healthcare services are stripped away. As nursing homes close, seniors will be forced onto these streets to die. And by abandoning housing first for traumatic transitional models, you are asking us to rot out here waiting for a housing stock that is never coming. When you force a transitional model without storage infrastructure, you are effectively legislating trauma. Stability requires one basic necessity: secure storage. Without it, a person cannot seek work, attend medical appointments, or maintain dignity. This history has come full circle for me. I was taught by strong gay men to stand for dignity while they were dying of AIDS. I understand what it means to fight for those systems that those systems ignore. My only agenda is not to become another sacrificial lamb, which you are not. Your waste, fraud, and abuse, we are your neighbors.
Thank you, Andy.
I'm sorry, please let me just finish this last paragraph. Do not just march against distant tyranny. Address the systemic neglect in your own backyards. Prioritize permanent solutions and the immediate need for municipal storage. Stop cycling us through trauma and start providing tools for survival. If you don't, I will be here every Monday to call it out.
Andy, your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll see you next week.
Nick Roybal, to be followed by Ed Holman.
Good evening, Council. First, I want to uplift Andy and everything that they shared with us. I think that's important that we closely listen. Second, I want to congratulate Brian Sonia Wallace for becoming the new Los Angeles Poet Laureate, which is incredible, and that follows a tradition of people like Luis Rodriguez and Robin Cost-Lewis, whose banner was down the street under the Route 66, and I shared that with her when she was flying to Venice for the biennial. And she was so shocked and surprised that the city had done that. She had no idea. So I wonder, for these poetic banners that we have that are so beautiful, when we rotate for different events in the city, I say we frame them, we keep them up, we have them out. The poets, the artists, we're gonna save us. You all have gifts that I don't have. You are able to navigate bureaucracy and systems, especially you, Mayor Heilman. You have these histories that I don't have. But what I do have is a reach for a language that is rooted in this Southwest soil. I want to invite everyone. I have a reading at Walt Disney Concert Hall a week from today with my debut American Lullaby. I'll be reading my first movement, which is a transing romance and a fighting chorus to springtime fascism in the USA. It is my debut. It's at Red Cat next Monday at 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Ed Holman to be followed by Jimmy Palmieri.
Good evening, Ed Holman, 30-year resident, West Hollywood. I'm here tonight with an update and a request regarding the security breach involving gate codes written on buildings. About 3 months ago, this council was notified about these codes, and at that meeting, Athens promised to help remove them, but I'm here to tell you they have not. Tonight, just before this meeting, I found several more gate codes on other streets east of Fairfax, one I could see from across the street. Over the weekend, I used the city's app to report a code on a block next to me. Today, I received a message from the app that the ticket was completed. I walked over right before tonight's meeting and saw that the code was still there. The first building where I found these codes written on has had 2 cars stolen from its gated garage with 0 signs of a break-in. It doesn't take a detective to figure out how they got in. Tonight, I'm asking the council to move beyond a tweet and a post on social media. Many residents, including myself, aren't on social media. I hear from time to time council members say that safety in our city is a high priority. This evening, I've heard the word safety no less than 30 times. Tonight, I'm asking the council to put our money where their mouth is. Tonight, I'm asking the council to send out a mailer to the residents, alerting them with the same message they sent out on social media. If safety is such a high priority as claimed, whatever the cost of mailer might be, it's a small price to the city to ensure the safety of its residents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Jimmy Palmieri to be followed by Ali Shahidi, but I think they've left, so John Conti.
Good evening, Jimmy Palmieri, West Hollywood resident since 1994. I was thinking really hard, do I yell like I did in ACT UP, or do I just say, put Seeds of Hope back where it was? I have advocated for houseless. I've advocated for folks with addiction. I must advocate for these people that were displaced. So many didn't know where to go, and I know towards the end we were providing Ubers, but they didn't know, and some went home. I live on Kings Road, so I saw all of the nonsense, and I saw people crying because their friends went home. They were afraid to get in the Ubers. You don't know why, but they were. And I think if this is a NIMBY thing, it really needs to go away, because you cannot prioritize. You just can't do it, because when it comes out, it's not going to look good to the city. It just won't look good. So I implore you, put it back where it was so the folks can get their fruits and vegetables, which are not affordable in West Hollywood. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Conti to be followed by Anita Goswami.
Good evening. I'm a building manager. My building, I've been here for 48 years. Half of that time I'm the manager. The building is just south of Sunset Oil, which would be on the south, actually the west corner, southwest corner of Sunset and San Vicente. I'm here. My tenants I have several women in the building, and they're concerned for their own safety in the evening. One of them has a 5-year-old boy, and she can't walk her dog. She doesn't feel safe walking her dog during that time. I've called numerous times about 1019, which is the building just south of us, and it's vacant. It's been vacant for several years. I've been told that they're going to demolish it. And as you well know, the Hustler building has been vacant for a number of years. You're across the street from a Grand Hotel. If you're a visitor from all around the world and you see vacant, lousy, dilapidated buildings around the city, does that look good for the city? No. So I just implore you, because when I called about the 1019 just south of my building that's been occupied by the homeless, that the sheriff department vacated them. And I'm telling you now that the Hustler building is now being occupied by the homeless. Now, I don't want to be hard about the homeless. I'm just concerned about the safety of my tenants. And I'm sure you're concerned about the aesthetics of Hollywood, West Hollywood. Dilapidated vacant buildings do not do the city look good. And the longer you take to build a building or to build a dilapidated building, it doesn't serve
Thank you, John.
anything.
Thank you,
Thank you
John.
very much.
Thank you.
Anita Goswami to be followed by Richard Noble.
Hi there, I'm Anita Goswami. I am a resident of West Hollywood for a long time. Just a couple of things. I appreciated attending the Council's Housing Study session on April 20th. I was not surprised at the focus on the economics of what will destroy neighborhoods, basically quoting, returns are much healthier in our zones. Healthier for whom? Healthier for developers, not for the people who live there, whether they rent, lease, own, or work there in a local business. The session did not consider city decision results that increase market rate housing, but do not hold developers accountable for the affordable units they should be providing. I do hope that the city will be closing those loopholes, such as the storage unit loophole raised by Councilmember Meister. I noted the lack of emphasis, the absence of emphasis on income. The February San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank study, amongst others, confirmed that it's income that matters, not the supply of housing. So I really hope that, again, that the city will be focusing on jobs. Let's get more good paying jobs here in West Hollywood. That's what will really address this issue. I was appalled at how Mr. Erickson demeaned and berated the city staff. Unfortunately, not a surprise. I was not surprised by Ms. Byers' concern that developers were missing opportunities. In a couple of other areas, Budget Subcommittee, which was supposed to meet last Thursday, was rescheduled at the last minute to tomorrow. There are no materials that are posted for tomorrow, so how can the public and the subcommittee prepare if there's no materials? The materials in the past are about 2 months ago, so does that mean there's no update on the future budget? Lastly, Metro added 12 months to its K-line detail decisions. Staff stated that it'll take several months to figure out the EIFD. Meanwhile, SB 79 becomes effective July 1st, and the people, the business, and the residents will still have to deal with the impacts. So Mr. Erickson shut down the TODAP discussion.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you.
And Richard Noble is our last speaker.
Is this the mic? Hi, staff and St. John. To me, you're a saint. You will always be the saint for West Hollywood. And my heart is full of love for you, and I will always love you. And thank you for being our mayor again, and John and everybody else that's been here. So I am Richard Noble. I'm the first and probably only gay man to backpack the 6-colored rainbow flag of pride on a 5-foot staff bolted from the Golden Gate Bridge to Jacksonville, Florida, and got to meet with President Obama after that, and a lot of wonderful people. The reason I'm here is because every time I'm looking for a new, I'm in Palm Springs right now, but I want to move back to West Hollywood because this has been my home. It was for many, many years. Is that when I see the rainbow flag with the trans colors and the black and brown mixed in with the rainbow, and car streaks and soda spilt on it, and people, who knows what's on their gum, it breaks my heart, and it makes me very, very sad. Now, I'm not saying that whoever brought the colors to the new rainbow flag is worthy of dignity and propulsion as the rest of us are. They are, but got to know what Gilbert Baker would say if he saw the rainbow flag the way it was. When I finished walking across America, I was given a hand-painted rainbow flag by Gilbert, signed on the back. It had the 6 colors on it. I absolutely, sexual orientation and gender identity, we must propel them into civil rights laws completely and fully across America. But please, when we You want a rainbow district, please make it the rainbow. Please bring the transgender colors and the people of colors flags equally but separate. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's our last public speaker. We'll turn to council member comments. Anyone want to start? Councilmember Erickson.
Sure, thank you so much. I want to thank the members of the public who last week brought the Seeds of Hope issue to my attention. I believe there was a miscommunication with what was going on, and it shouldn't be at Kings Road Park moving forward. It should be back in its original location. Jackie's nodding her head, and I think maybe that says yes, but I think that was a one-time thing that was improperly miscommunicated. And so on behalf of the city, thank you very much for putting up with the shenanigans that was. It should not be happening again, because I understand how important that program is. And they did such a great job at the kids, the Rec Expo and Kids Fair this past weekend, handing out food. And thank you, Jimmy, for your long-time advocacy and service to the community. And you are right, you know exactly everything that goes on in Kings Road Park. Unlike other people who maybe can afford, the $1 million, condos, because they're private finance bros or someone else like that. You've been there for a long time, and you're continuing to do the work for all community members. Additionally, I want to thank you, because I know you're on the Human Services Commission. At the Kids Rec Fair, you guys published this little pamphlet that had a lot of great little moments about what is a city, how you can design your own, who runs a city, my sign plan, a slogan builder for the kids to actually go. Maybe some candidates in the room might want to use this easy 1, 2, 3 to actually figure out what the heck they stand for. Additionally, I want to thank you for putting that forward, because it's easy enough for a child to explain and to get, and hopefully easy enough for some people to be able to use in the future. In terms of meetings, I attended the Cal Cities Conference in Sacramento, the Cal Bicycle Conference, the Strategic Streetscape Symposium, where I don't recall ever being rude to staff, but Anita, if you would like to show me the video, I'm happy to have it done. Public Safety Awards, the Rec Expo and Kids Fair, and the 81st anniversary of the Victory Day in Europe, which I thought was so well attended this year, and it's really always sad every year to see the number of our veterans continue to go down, but it's really great to see the community and the legacy continuing to step up. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Councilmember Byers.
Thank you. I attended the League of California Cities Summit in Sacramento, where I helped put together and speak on a panel on building family-friendly cities. I also attended the California Bicycle Summit while in Sacramento that week. I had the La Casa, Los Angeles County Affordable Housing Solutions Agency CEO hiring process, which hopefully wrapped up today. Very many meetings that I participated for that, and a number of wonderful community events. I'm also happy that the mayor and I were able to kick off our work on the Rent Stabilization Ordinance Ad Hoc Committee, which will be getting an update at the council level in the coming months. Just some comments, just thanks to Rick and his team for a really wonderful Streetscape Symposium. If you missed it, it's recorded and will be available for view at a later date. I'm really excited about Ciclavia coming back this summer, and I think it's our one big chance as a city to celebrate Route 66 and car-free, take over the street sort of way, so excited for that to happen. I want to thank all members of the public who came out and spoke tonight. Glad to hear the update about Seeds for Hope, because I made a note about that, so thank you, Councilmember Erickson, for mentioning. But I especially wanted to lift up the Writers Guild union staff members. I know they've asked for more support from elected officials in their negotiations. As we've heard, it's been 3 long months. Many of them are without health care now. I was happy to sign on a letter. I was encouraged to bring a letter to this whole council. I'm happy to move it at a future council agenda time, or if this council's open to signing it and sending it off as we've done in the past, I would encourage us to do that. And that is all from me. Thank you all so much. Enjoying these longer days full of fun and activity. Over to you, Councilmember Meister.
Councilmember Meister.
Thank you, Mayor. So attendance-wise, I attended the Strategic Streetscape Symposium, which was another great symposium about what our city looks like in the future. I hope that these symposiums continue. I also attended the Public Safety Awards, and I was sorry to miss Sunday's event, but I was at the wedding of John Duran and Mark Morris, and I wish them a congratulations and many happy years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. As far as my meetings and attendance are concerned, I attended the Cal Cities Conference in Sacramento, the California Bicycle Summit in Sacramento as well, the Mazar Archive Short Film Festival here at the PDC. I attended the soft preview opening of Mic Drop here in West Hollywood. I attended the Pride Subcommittee meeting. Thank you for staff for arranging that. And I attended the Streetscape Symposium on a Saturday. It was a really good presentation. Thank you to Rick and his team for putting that together. Thank you.
Thank you. I spoke at the Greater Los Angeles Real Estate meeting. I attended the opening of Mic Drop. I also attended the Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Elected Officials meeting in Burbank. I was at the Mazar Collection Film Festival to kick that off. Also attended the West Hollywood Elementary School fundraiser with Councilmember Byers. Attended the Out Athlete Fund fundraiser and movie screening here at West Hollywood Park. Participated in the sexual assault awareness event. Participated in the RSD subcommittee as well as the Pride subcommittee meeting. Appeared at the city's Denim Day event. Also spoke to the chamber leadership. Attended the recreation fair and briefly attended the Victory in Europe event so I could get to the wedding of our former mayor, John Duran. It has been a busy couple of weeks, and we have 3 new business openings this week, so a lot happening in West Hollywood. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and thank you. We had some technical issues, but I really appreciate your patience, and we are now adjourned to our next meeting. Thank you, everyone. I didn't, and did I mention I had a great